and welcome or welcome back. I hope you are doing well. It has been a while since I updated you on my knitting whips and my one crochet whip. I am obviously not in my apartment. I'm away visiting some family. This was kind of a last minute trip for me, and I was unable to bring all of my projects, but I was able to bring 4 with me. So I'm going to give you a little update on the 4 that I brought. So I think I'm just gonna jump on in. I don't have any finished objects for you, but I do have one that I am so close to finishing, and that is my Portofino Market Bag by 2 of Wands. Okay, so here it is. This is what I have. The body of the bag is complete. I actually think this is a pretty big difference from the last time you saw it. I think last time you saw it, I was maybe like that big-ish, but now the body is complete and I've got the handles attached, and I'm just going around and kind of doing like the top stitches that you need to do to make the handles thicker. So after that, I will go in and I think do inside the handles twice, and then it's done, just blocking and weaving in my ends. And I am so thrilled with how this bag is turning out. I have had the most fun stitching this. It has just been such a fun little project to work on, and I really cannot wait to have this finished and ready to use for farmers markets in a few weeks and for some beach trips that I have this summer. So I think it's just going to be such a fantastic addition to my life, my wardrobe, my bag collection, although I don't really have that big of a collection. But yeah, I am really loving this, and I'm almost there. So next time you see this, it will be totally finished. But if you haven't seen this before, I actually think I've only spoken about it once before. So this is a little bottom-up crochet tote. You start by crocheting this bottom rectangle, which it's kind of like difficult to see, but this rectangle is kind of what you start by crocheting, like right here, this top portion, and then you do this section that's going like across the middle, and then do this other bottom rectangle. So then you get this one rectangle, and then, oh, I'm getting stuck. And then you kind of go around and start working in a loop to get the shape. And it is, I don't know, it's a pretty easy bag, but yeah, it's just a pretty simple pattern. I think this is my second ever crochet pattern. And I think on Ravelry, they call this an intermediate level, or the designer labels this as an intermediate level. I'm very much so a beginner crocheter, and I think I was able to figure it out. I mean, I think it generally looks like the sample photos. Of course, it's not perfect. My tension is definitely off. There are spots where I've made mistakes. I'm not going to point them out to you. But all in all, I think a beginner could do this. Like, yes, I was sitting there going through the pattern, writing out exactly what I was supposed to do for each step, but I think that because it is a super repetitive pattern, it's really not that difficult to figure out once you figure it out. If I did not say already, this is both a free pattern and a paid pattern on Ravelry. So the designer has a link to the free pattern, which is like a blog post with photos and kind of stuff in between the instructions. That's linked on Ravelry, but you can also buy the pattern, which I am assuming is a little more like clear and doesn't have kind of like everything mixed in with it. So I don't know, I used the free pattern and I think it worked out just fine, worked out well for me. The yarn I am using is Lion Brand 24/7 cotton, which I am loving. It is so lovely to work with. It is soft. It doesn't have that, there's one cotton that I own that kind of has this like yucky cotton feel to it. I forget what it's called. It might be Loops and Threads cotton. I really don't like however that cotton feels. This one feels really nice. I mean, it's not super soft, but it's not like rough or anything like that. So I mean, yeah, I think nothing bad to say about this pattern. And I would just highly, highly recommend it, especially if you're looking for a good summer bag. This is probably, this would probably be a pretty quick bag for you to crochet, to make if you are like a more advanced crocheter. So yeah, if you know, have crocheted a lot before, I'm sure this is something you could whip up in like a week or two. It's taken me about a month, but I'm fine with that because I didn't need it anytime soon when I started it, but I'm looking forward to having it in a few weeks. So anyways, so that is everything on my Portofino Market Bag. This will be wrapped up probably later today or tomorrow. Then I will show you it as its fully finished object in my next podcast. My next whip is another one that you have seen before, but I think I have made significant progress since you last saw it. I have a feeling I was only about to here. I don't even know if I split for sleeves yet. I don't remember, but I don't think I had. And that is my Micaela Sweater by Portofino Knit. Oh, goodness me, I've got so much yarn going through this. Okay, well, here we are. I have so many little yarny thready bits that I clearly need to deal with. But anyways, this is what we've got. This is my Micaela Sweater. It is working up beautifully. I am thrilled with how this is going and moving along. I would say I'm probably maybe like just under the bust, maybe a ½ inch under the bust right now. And it is, oh, this is so lovely. I am loving this fabric. It is exactly what I wanted this to be. I am just beyond thrilled with it. It is kind of your simple, basic top-down sweater, and the pattern is, of course, pretty easy to follow. If you've knit a top-down sweater before, it's super intuitive. You kind of get the gist. But I have to say it is really well written. I think the designer gives, what do you call it? Stitch counts throughout the pattern, which I really appreciate. I'm someone who really likes a little reassurance just to make sure I am staying on track. So that's something I really appreciate about this pattern. But anyways, I am knitting this up in Permin Leonora in the color Plum, held with, let me see, Sandness Garn Tin Silk Mohair in the color, oh, I don't have a tag. I think it's deep burgundy. I am pretty sure it's deep burgundy. So it's these two colors, these two yarns, and they are working up to create this really pretty kind of mottled raspberry fabric. I think it is absolutely gorgeous. I just stop and stare at it all the time. It feels so lovely. It's so soft. I love this. I love this sweater so much. I cannot wait to be finished with this. I would say I'm typically a process knitter. I try to set deadlines for myself and then I don't end up following through on them. I like having a lot of projects going at once. I'm not really, I want the finished product, but I'm not gonna break my wrists trying to get the finished product like ASAP. But this is one where I think I would kind of overwork myself a little bit because I really want to wear this. I want to wear this by the end of April. That is my biggest goal, is to be able to wear this by April 25th to have this on. And it's March 31st or March 30th today. I don't remember. But anyways, this is one where I think I'm knitting a bit more for the product, for the finished item, than I am for the process, which is okay. I think different knits, different motivations. But yeah, I think I don't have too much else to say on this. It is just your simple top-down sweater. I'll go back in once I finish the body, add the sleeves and the neckline, and it'll just be a gorgeous little purpley, reddy, pinky, raspberry colored knit. So that is my Micaela sweater by Portofino Knit. Again, not too much to say on this for now, other than that I'm loving it. I'm obsessed with it, and my yarn selection. So that is that, just your simple top-down sweater. So I think by the next time you see this, I will have a full body, maybe the neckline. That would be fantastic. So we shall see. I'm not going to make any promises because I do that and then I realize I can't always follow through on them. Like I was supposed to show my Toffee sweater in this, but that is back home in New York at my apartment. I left it on the blocking mats. It was like still pretty wet when I left. So I'm not going to make any promises about that, but hopefully I will have the full body of this sweater complete by the next time you see it. So that is, again, my Micaela sweater by Portofino Knit. I feel like I kind of zoomed through those two projects. I think the sweater was pretty like basic, simple top-down sweater. You don't need a ton of info on it. But that was my update, so that felt exciting. And I just, I feel very excited for that sweater. I've got like butterflies in my stomach every time I work on it. I cannot wait to have it finished. And then my little crochet bag is just a fun project that I'm almost finished with. And after I finish that, I will be casting on this other little crochet bag that I talked about previously. I purchased, what was it? Barocco Modern linen, and I think it was the color Spice. Anyways, those are kind of the two projects you have seen before. Before I move on to my two new whips, my two new cast-ons, I will give a quick little verbal update on my green poncho. That is back in New York, and I believe I am at 26.5 inches. Last time I measured, maybe 27.5. One of those two, I can't quite remember exactly. And my goal is, or not my goal, but I want to get to 40 inches. 40 to 45 inches is kind of how long I want this rectangle to be. So once I'm at 40 inches, I'll kind of try it on and pin it and we'll see. So getting there, getting close to it. But that is a project that I don't really see myself wearing until mid-June anyways. So I have 2.5 months. So that is kind of just one I'm chugging away on when we watch TV at night, or if I wake up in the morning and want to do some light and easy knitting. That is what I tend to reach for. So that's my update on that one. And then I think I just talked about my Toffee sweater, left it on the blocking mats. But in my last podcast, someone commented to switch the purl side needle to a smaller size. And I tried that to help with the rowing out. I think it helped to an extent. At first I thought it was helping a ton. I had done like 3 or 4 inches with that, and it looked like it was like pretty even. But once I got to the full 9 inches of that front left panel, like the rowing out was still pretty obvious, but it wasn't as obvious as the rowing out on the back panel or the front right panel. So I think, based on how the blocking goes, I'm not sure, I haven't seen it. I will see it when I get back to New York in, I don't know, a week. I'll make a decision on if I want to reknit the front right panel with this little funky needle situation. And if I do, I will. But if it seems like not like that big of a difference after blocking, then I'm just going to continue with my plan to knit the front and backs flat, and then I will seam them up the sides. So those are my updates on all of the whips that you have seen. And now I will talk about 2 new cast-ons, or 2 new whips. I guess one is a new cast-on and one I have swatches for. So the first new whip, new cast-on that you have not seen before is my Dumpling Bag from Purl Soho. Really don't have that much on here. I think I've got like an inch of work. But this will be my little dumpling bag. It is this adorable little I don't know, a little pouchy type of bag where there's two straps, one is longer than the other, and to kind of like close it, I guess, you pull the shorter strap through the bigger strap. No, you pull the bigger strap through the shorter strap and like hold on to the bigger strap, and that kind of like closes it. Anyways, I am knitting mine in, what is this? Wool and the Gang Shiny Happy Cotton in the color Lipstick Red. I love this color. This is not a color I would normally wear. I do actually have a pair of ballet flats in bright red, but other than that, I don't wear red. So the pattern wants you to cast on 100 stitches and knit in the round for like 7 or 8 inches. This is a free pattern, so you can see all that for yourself online. So I feel okay, I guess, saying those numbers. And then it wants you to Kitchener stitch up the bottom of the bag when you are finished knitting like the body portion of this, but I did not want to do that. So I was looking through other people's projects on Ravelry, and I saw that a few people had done Judy's Magic Cast On, which is what I did for the collar on my Toffee sweater, and that gives us, I keep calling it a pita pocket, but that kind of gives us this little folded pita pocket. It's seamed up on the edges on both sides. The bottom is whatever, it's connected. It kind of comes into this like little VU type of situation. And it's just, for me, much easier than going back and Kitchener stitching up the bottom, although I'm sure it would go faster if I were just knitting the body in the round. I'd rather do this. This feels a little, I don't know if cleaner is the right word, but it does feel a little bit cleaner to me than doing the Kitchener stitch on the bottom of the bag. So that is the one modification that I have for sure made. I am thinking of making 2 other modifications. So I would do one or the other. I wouldn't do both. The first is double knitting the handles. I saw someone did that in their project and it looks really nice, and it eliminates the like stockinette curl that you can get, and it seems like it just gives it a little bit more weight, isn't the right word, structural integrity maybe, like it wouldn't sag as much, or like it's maybe a bit more like load bearing, I guess, has a bit better of a load bearing capacity than the just single stockinette. So that is one thing I'm thinking about doing if I do the double straps. If not, the other thing I'm thinking about doing is not doing 2 straps and just doing 1 strap that kind of goes like across the bag rather than the 2 on the sides. So it's like one side strap, other side strap, and then you like hook them together. I'm thinking of doing one side, like a strap rainbowing across the bag, I guess. I really don't know my terminology here. But if I do that like rainbowy strap, I would like to knit it and then do like a big knot kind of down towards the base of one side and then connect it to the other side. So that's another thing I am thinking about. I saw on Pinterest, was it Pinterest? I think it was, a kind of similar bag with like that knot detail, and I really liked it. And I think that could be kind of fun in the red. So 2 things I am thinking about. We will see when we get there. Again, I'm only like an inch into the pattern. But overall, I am really enjoying this. It is a very simple pattern. It is free, as I said, and overall a very pleasant experience, especially this yarn. This yarn is wonderful. It is, again, a really lovely cotton. It is soft. It is kind of squishy and a little bouncy, and I'm just really enjoying knitting this pattern and using this yarn. So far I would definitely recommend both the pattern and this yarn, and hopefully this will be much further along the next time you see it. So that is my dumpling bag from Purl Soho. My final whip is not really a whip or a cast on yet. I just have a swatch, and that is going to be my Ivy Tee by Petite Knit. I knew I really wanted to knit a white t-shirt. I love a white t-shirt. I'm a big white t-shirt girl in the spring and the summer, and I've never knit one. So I knew I wanted to make one, and I knew what yarn I wanted to make a white t-shirt with. It is yarn that I own, and I was between, I want to say 2 or 3 different patterns, but I ultimately decided on the Ivy Tee because I have knit the Ivy top before and I love it. I love the neckline of that top, the shoulders, just how it fits and feels. I just feel really good in that top. So I decided that I would make the Ivy Tee, and this is my swatch. So my swatch, that's all I've got so far, but I did meet gauge for the pattern on 3.25 millimeter needles, I believe. And the yarn I am using is yarn I have talked about before. That is Amano Annie yarn, which is 80% baby alpaca and 20% silk in the color Salt. This is yarn that has been in my stash for a very, very long time, and I've been wanting to use it. And I think this is the perfect project for this yarn. It is deliciously soft. I don't know, I want to make like a matching set in this yarn. It is, oh, I just want to wrap myself in a blanket of this yarn. I love it so, so, so much. So really, really not too much to say here other than that I will be casting this on probably tomorrow when I cast off my crochet bag, because the 2 other knitting projects that I have here are just like stockinette in the round. So I want something a little like that'll work my brain a little bit, and I think starting a sweater works your brain a little bit. So that is what I will be casting on next, and I think that is everything. I think this was a pretty short and sweet little knitting podcast, knitting update, I guess, if I can call it. I don't even think I can call it a podcast, so I'll just call it my little knitting update. But yeah, that's what I've been working on recently. So as always, thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.